Are we live? Are we here? Hopefully. Maybe. I'm here. Are you here? Well, I mean, not here, but... Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. Thank God we made it. Barely. Anyway. First off, Dana Reed, are you here? I saw a chat from you earlier, and then the kitties walked over the keyboard while I was away, and I don't see you anymore. Please let me know if you're here, because I want to make sure that kitties didn't accidentally block you. Alrighty. So, good morning, Dana. I know you're here. GK Man, good morning. Rune International, good morning. Legless Lockpicker, good afternoon to you across the pond. Thank you for joining. Dave Adion, stakes have never been so high, have they? Alan Corson, good morning. Zoe the Cat, good morning to you as well. Willard 102, new person here in the chat. I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. Who else do we have? Robert Patton, good morning. S&M Lock and Key, good morning. Newhouse Lock and Key, sup? See and hear you loud and clear. Awesome. James Randolph, good morning. Audio's a little bit different today because I was actually listening to an episode of the Three Tumblers podcast, and my AirPods went dead doing that. So my microphone isn't what it normally is. I apologize for that. Kitties are kind of playful today, and I've got the AC going because it's like almost 80 outside today right now. Computer says 69. I don't think so. Willard 102, been here before, just don't chat much. Okay, cool. Well, it's nice to have you in the chat. The chat is what makes this live broadcast possible. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Really? Psst. Psst. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, y'all, hope y'all have had a great day or a great week since I saw you last. It's been a really, really busy weekend or week. Jesus. Anyway, it's been busy, and in a good way though. Boss was out of town for about a couple weeks, and so I actually spent an even amount of time between the shop and the field on the road, and that's always kind of interesting for me because being in the shop, like this past Monday, I was definitely having a Monday, and I appreciated being in the shop, and we didn't really get a whole lot of traffic in the shop. And so I was able just to kind of catch up on a few things. It was nice. It was nice. 70 in the mountains right now. Yeah, Dave. I'm thinking, like I've said so far since April, that it's probably going to take 6 months for the lake to warm up this year. So I can't wait to get back out on the lake. I know you guys miss me when I'm not here, and I really, really appreciate that. And I promise this year I will do more lives. I will do a live at least from the lake, but yeah. Normally, like lake schedule, we're normally set up to the point to where I can do a live by the time Jason's getting ready to get started. So that's kind of why I didn't do many lives or any lives from the lake last year, but this year, who knows? We'll see. Got a busy week coming up this week. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my week this past week, because it was really. I was in the shop 2 days, and I was in the field 3 days, and stayed moving the whole time, doing some actual locksmithing, with some exit device work and access control work. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm on Twitter, and I posted some pictures. And if you follow the Three Tumblers podcast Twitter, which is the number 3 Tumblers podcast on Twitter, follow them, and you'll see a video that I shot doing a test of an electrified exit device repair after I had repaired it. Really, really cool piece of equipment. It is command access. Their field cat tester is what they call it. I don't think that it has anything to do with actual kitties, but anyway, it allows you to use battery, whether it's Milwaukee or DeWalt or Makita or whatever you use. You slide it onto this power supply, and then you have 2 plug-in alligator clips, and they've got a tester for some other things like electric strikes and whatnot. You can dial your voltage in, and then you hit a power button, and it sends power through the circuit. And so you can test what I did in the video was test the electrified latch retraction kit, and showed where it retracted the push pad and everything. Worked great. Jason, good morning. Thank you for posting that link. I appreciate it. Let's see, here's the live from the lake. Tim picks a boat lock and makes a key. Yeah. Anyway, but no, this... Okay, so this pull gate, this kind of crawled up my butt. But anyway, we got an email the other day from a property manager. It's a homeowners association, which I don't know, like, if you have these outside of the U.S., but HOAs, homeowners associations here in the U.S., typically what they do is it's a tract of property, homes are built, you get the little postage stamp size yards, front and back, and they share amenities. Like, they'll have an amenity center, and or if you're from Finding Nemo, it's an anemone center. But this amenity center typically includes a pool, and so there's a pool, and we did, or the shop did access control for it years ago. It's a Paxton system, actually. And so you have Paxton access control, and it controls an electrified exit device, which, where is, there it is. So an electrified exit device, basically you pull this out, and there's a little solenoid with a drive, and it's basically got a wire that hooks into the actuation, and so when you apply power to it, it retracts the push pad just like that, and then releases it however long later you have it set to. Very common on access controlled exit doors that are required to have an exit device, and I like them. There's somebody on the locksmith Reddit who also likes them. Which, by the way, locksmith Reddit's gotten weird lately. But blue spanner duties. Appreciate that, Jason. Awesome. James Randolph, typically HOA nitpick and fine you for the wrong curtain color, or that your grass is like 2.3 millimeters longer than it should be. Yeah. I will never, ever, ever, ever live in an HOA neighborhood. However, they do provide pretty good income. Especially if it's like a condominium neighborhood complex. They do provide, I'm not going to say big dollar because they're typically cheap, but they do like their access control systems. We just won an estimate for access control of a condominium type HOA. So that's decent money, but I'll never live there. So anyway, back to my exit device story. What happened was apparently some kids or some rowdy adults, and why is my computer not plugged in? Because Kitty's unplugged it, that's why. Sorry about that. Give me just a second. Power required. Anyway, some kids or teenagers or whatever basically ran down the corridor. It's like your typical community style swimming pool where you have a structure with the gate in the middle of it is open air structure. There's the gate at the front of it, and you've got restrooms, showers, and whatnot, and then storage areas. And on the gate, on the inside, like I said, there's electrified exit device. It was a DTEX 988N, which had been electrified, and it was SDC, Security Door Controls Electrification Kit, for those who are interested. But anyway, they kicked it so hard that they jammed the push pad down into the device, and it would not release, so the latch was retracted, the entire, completely retracted, and the gate had it wouldn't latch, so it was not secure. I go out there. I've never taken one of the 988Ns apart before, and especially not one with an electrification kit. And so I had to learn how to do that. And finally I learned how to do that. It's a pain in the ass, just to say, it's a pain in the ass, because the wire it's kind of bent like a coat hanger wire, but it is much stouter than a coat hanger wire. And you have to fish it back out. The wire is bent in a hook shape, and it goes through like an eyelet in the solenoid. And so you have to take a pair of needle nose pliers and bend it back out of the way to disconnect it. That allows you to slide the rest of the unit out. And I detached the push pad unit from the head unit. Still couldn't get it open. And finally, after about 35 minutes, once I reached that point, it took me about 30 minutes to, with a combination of dead blow hammer and pry bar, to get it open and to release it. And once I finally did, it worked perfect. So I reassembled the whole thing and, reconnected the wiring and all that good stuff. Held up the little Paxton credential to the reader on the outside of the gate. Nothing. I got red lights on the reader. And so I called my boss and I was like, hey, the little credential that we have on the key that stays in the lockbox, I said, did you use that? Because he was out there doing some maintenance to the Paxton system a few weeks ago, and he was like, well, we tested it when we were out there, but it may have been a different credential. It's like, well, shit. So I, I was like, well, can't in good conscience put this back on the door without testing the the electrified retraction. That's when I remembered that last year sometime, Jason bought us he and I both a command access field tester assembly, and I should have brought it with me. I really should have. Thought about it, but I didn't. I forgot, and I left it. It's still on my truck. Anyway, I went out and grabbed it, slid the battery on there, turned my voltage to 12 volts where it needed to be, connected the alligator leads, hit the button, chink, and the push pad retracted. And then as soon as I released power, it released. So it's fail secure, like you really should have on any access control system, is fail secure. That way if the power goes out, your building's not completely unlocked. Just saying. But anyway, got all that done. It was blazing hot sun in the morning before noon. I was completely drenched in sweat. But by God, I made that exit device my you-know-what. And anyway, so went on, and Jason and I met up, and we went to a job. We've done work for this customer before. It's a Salto customer. Their building, they expanded. They took over an entire building, set up their primary business in one. And we put Salto in there. They love it. The other side of the building, they had renovated, remodeled, new construction inside, and now it is like a co-working space that they're getting ready to open. So basically, if you're not familiar, like a co-work space is basically a suite of offices where you can have your own individual office, and then there are community facilities for like restroom, refrigerator, break room, conference rooms that you can reserve, and they make money not just off the rent, but also off of reservations for the conference rooms. And so if you have your office in there and you have a meeting where you need to have like 6 people, your 10 by 12 office is not going to comfortably fit 6 people, so you rent out the conference room for the date and time and duration that you need, and your group can meet in there. So we're doing Salto on that, and because that's their existing system for their main business, this is sort of like a sub-business that they're running. Anyway, let's see, now mostly freeze frames. That sucks. And we should be back. Maybe now it'll be a little bit better. Kitten, say hello. Hello. All right, go play. So let's see here. Most of the clubhouses around us consider a quickset smart lock access control. Yeah, I've seen those, and I replace them. Like I tell them, I'm like, if you want access control, you're gonna have to spend some money. And we actually do get a lot of places that eventually will accept that, because after the 3rd, 4th, 8th visit to repair their quickset that they have on their pull gate, I say, look, you've already spent over 35% of what it would cost you to have us install, say, a Schlage Engage system, or If you wanted to do more, we could do a Paxton system or a Salto system. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, Wood Spirit, good morning. Can I have some cheese with that buffering? GQ Man, be careful on the road. Found a number 10 American lock. Cool. Yeah, Rune, the feline IT department, they tend to cause just as many problems as they fix. Isn't that right? Yep. Okay. So anyway, we got there to that company, that building. We're familiar with it. We've worked on it. We did some initial installations of Salto stuff for the new part, and anyway, for the old part, that building used to have access control on it. And so they had mag locks, and wires ran for PIRs, or passive infrared sensors, which you have to have with a mag lock, which will release the lock as you approach the door. And but they had removed the PIRs, and basically whenever they took out that access control system, they went in, yanked all the wires out of the control panel, looped them up in a big ball of spaghetti, and threw them in the ceiling. And we had several options, because Salto does do, we can do a standalone battery-powered exit device with, exterior trim, but they also offer a wall reader with a controller. And the way that Salto kind of works is it would make more sense to reuse the mag lock and just replace the wall reader. And since the wires already ran, the old wall readers were still there, so we could remove that, trace back the wire, and connect our Salto equipment through the existing wire run back to the controller in the IT closet. That sounds so much simpler when everything is labeled, but sorting through a ball of spaghetti, that's not fun without a tracer. So the first door that we did, we had two doors like that. The first one we did took us a couple hours to get everything sorted and traced and tested and wired and et cetera, et cetera. The second door took us, the first door took us probably a total of 2 hours, 45 minutes. The second door took us, an hour, a little over an hour. But it works. The only thing we lacked for the second door was another PIR, just because of stuff. And then for the front main door, we're actually going to go back and do electrified exit device, latch retraction kit, because it's a Jackson concealed vertical rod exit device. And with those, for Salto offers mortise cylinders and rim cylinders. I don't like the rim cylinders on those, just because you have to intensely educate the customer, and intensely educating the customer can be trifling after a while. So I like the idea that we're going to do with this one, which is electrified exit device and a wall reader outside. Let's see here. Secure Tech, good morning. I just had to go rewire panic alarm, and the government put a almost 2 decades ago because their new access control company cut my wire. Oh, ooh, damn, that sucks. Yeah, that's not fun at all. See, as someone who installs and fishes wires, you know to never ever cut anything. At most, coil it neatly and tuck it. Yes. Fortunately, none of our wires were cut. That was the good thing. The bad thing is when they yanked all the wires out of the old control panels, it's like they took a fork and a spoon, just balled them up, threw them in the ceiling. So thankfully we didn't have any cut wires. So we really didn't want to do any wire runs. But yeah. And speaking of access control stuff, yeah, and I've got this thing out here. We're gonna take something apart maybe today. I don't have it with me. I don't have my power supply with me, but when I do live next, I think I'm gonna do this keypad, and y'all will stay tuned just a moment. Bad boy here. I've had this thing for years. It was given to me. I did not reappropriate it, but this is basically a cruiser mount for a pew pew, and I've got the idea that for at-home storage, I could have this set up with the keypad, thus using the keypad to fire the relay in here. Let's see if I can get that relay to fire. This battery might be decent. Well, it was trying to, but it sounds like it was firing. I've got some corrosion on here. It's been in storage for a while, but I think that would be pretty cool to set up as like a wall mount unit somehow, if I can figure that out. This is designed to be in a patrol car, like above and behind the officer's head, and it holds a long gun securely to where if the patrol vehicle is unlocked, you can't easily just grab what's locked up in there and take off with it. So I think that using the keypad with that would be really cool. Let's see. Ox and Y, Jay, good morning. Just use a strong magnet to release it. Yeah. You can do that easily. They do it now in the new patrol cars. Yeah, I've seen kind of bits and pieces of that. Sorry, there was some dust on that. It's about the third time I've sneezed this morning. That's not a good sign. But anyway, also, I don't know if any of y'all are, let's see here. Are any of y'all going to the Southern Lock trade show this week? Because I am. I'm going to be there all 4 days, actually. Let's see. Where is Dana? Dana's always here, and Dana commented earlier. Thank you, Legless. And I need blessings whenever I can get them. You're a Yankee. Can't go to a show. Nah, I'm sure you order from Southern Lock Distributors. Dana's not here. I've not seen her post anything. Okay. I know I saw her post earlier in the chat, and it disappeared. That's why I'm truly worried if, like, the cat stepped on the keyboard when I wasn't around and maybe accidentally blocked her. I don't see her in the blocked anything, but yeah. Let's see. Willard, you wanted to go but not going to be able to. Yeah. I wanted to go to the Banner Show actually this year. Again, I went last year, but it just wasn't in the cards to go this year. And honestly, there were only like 2 classes that I was really interested in, and the rest were just like filler material. For the Southern Lock Show, I'm going to take, God, what is it? I can't get on my company email because my phone is y'all. Can't really go to trade shows. Hands are tied. They're busy with Miko. Yeah. That's the cool thing about kitties. It's basically they can take care of themselves. They don't like to, but they can. Okay. All right, Rune. Well, I will email Dana just to make sure. I just don't want her to think that I got mad at her and blocked her. But yeah, the trade shows, and I know I say this, but I will post from this trade show. Jason's not going, unfortunately, and my coworker is staying in one place and I'm staying in a different place just because of internet stuffs. Don't ever book your travel through Orbitz, by the way. And can still scroll back to the beginning. She wasn't here. Okay. All right. Well, no, there are the cats out here, which will be okay, and the cats in the house, they'll be okay as well. Because I've got big feeders that will last a week, even at the rate they eat. Litter boxes will be a mess when I get back, but I've got extra, so they'll be okay. Of course, several different watering points, they'll be all right. And for the ones in the house, as long as I leave the lid to the toilet up, they've got plenty of access to free water. So, gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll look in the Studio app. I looked like on the website, but didn't see her anywhere. But I'll look in the app because I think that's a little bit simpler. Speaking of YouTube apps, the YouTube Music app now hosts podcasts. So look for our podcast, The Three Tumblers, in that app within the next coming weeks. We are recording another episode today. I've got 2 episodes to edit. I forget what they are. But yeah, we're recording today, so that'll put us like 3 weeks out, I think, which will be pretty cool. And we're really trying to grow the podcast and get it out there, get more interaction. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, please follow us there. Also follow us on YouTube. If you don't do Twitter, if you don't do podcast apps, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Transistor or whatever you use for your podcast, we're on all of them. But just check us out. And if you have any questions, comments, you like it, you don't like it, please post them, send them to us. We love getting fan mail. And so yeah, just interact with us. We love it. And if you want to ask us any questions or make suggestions for topics of conversation, please, we are very, very welcome to that. Let's see. Yeah, Jason, we'll be recording at the time you do your live. That's the only time we can normally all 3 get together on weekends, unfortunately. Sometimes we're able to do during the week, or we do Sundays or something like that, but not this weekend. And yeah, she might be on the water. Jason, you're missing Saturday morning live? Sorry, there's a lawnmower going by, so you may hear that. And I may sneeze more. But, let's take this guy apart. It's the Schlage BE365. Pretty common. Jason, I know you like them. I like them for, well, if I could get the damn thing apart. Thought my Torx bit would work. It won't. Maybe I'll be able to use this. Nope, it's too wide. The BE365 is actually pretty decent at being a, I don't know. Sorry, guys. Let me just say, here we go. This driver might actually work. These are pretty decent. I like these for sheds and like utility doors, storage doors, someplace that you're not going to be around Wi-Fi, something that you don't need a whole lot out of, because you, the user, supplies the mechanical energy. You don't have a motor-driven bolt. You can see you got a spindle just like any other regular Schlage deadbolt. You got a key override. This, of course, spins freely until you enter the code, and I'm going to show you what happens when you do enter the code. These are decent, but like I said in the live where I showed the J series, we actually have started recommending the J series over these because the J series just don't break. Let's see. Try to aim at putting it back together in working condition. And the T15, yeah. Yeah, Dave, you can't put a six cylinder. Jesus. You cannot put a 6-pin cylinder in here. To rekey these, basically you do what I just did. There are 2 more Torx bits that should be in here that aren't in this one. I've had this one forever. But you take that off, and then you push this up. So you've got just the outer shell with the membrane for the keypad, the little O-ring for the thumb turn. Just dump the thumb turn out. That's empty now. And then you've got all these little bits on the back. You've got like a plastic lock washer, and then a metal actuator, and then a plate on the back of it. And then it's just a regular 5-pin Schlage cylinder. So what happens is you have this actuator here on the front, spins freely. That's what interacts with this. So you can see it does that. It turns, but it doesn't turn your tailpiece. And the reason why it doesn't is underneath here. Take this apart and look at it. Rune, this was not in working condition to start with. It was broke. It got replaced. Can't remember what it got replaced with exactly, but it did get replaced. So basically what you have in here is on this plate you have a geared sprocket, and it doesn't interact with anything until this comes up, which pushes, so the solenoid fires, draws this plastic piece up, and it shoots this pin out, which then interacts with the sprocket on the back here. So that transfers the mechanical motion to this part in here, to where that can turn. And it's only about, I don't know, a half a turn or so. It's enough to throw the bolt or retract it. And then after whatever amount of time, solenoid releases, that pin disengages from the sprocket, and so you're not able to transfer your mechanical energy from that into the tailpiece. Maybe we will use Torx. You know, Torx is actually getting, it is gaining popularity. It's gaining a lot of popularity. More than half the screws in this shop are Torx. You go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and the wood screws that are available are mostly all Torx. And it's so cool because they actually give you a Torx bit that you can put in your impact driver to drive the Torx in. I still prefer Phillips, but Torx are pretty cool. I like them. Standardized. Maybe one day we'll get there. How can locks still not support a 6-pin cylinder? Well, now, this is your regular Schlage B60 B60 or B60N deadbolt. You can buy this at Lowe's. It will actually support a 6-pin cylinder. That's what is on the door to my shop. That is what was on the doors of my house before I replaced them with electronic. And my electronic locks actually do support the 6-pin Schlage cylinder. That's what I've got in there. Because I use Schlage Everest for my house. So yeah, they can. This model can't, which sucks. But the Schlage Encode, Schlage Sense, they can support it. The B60 can support it. Quickset, other than the Titan or whatever it's known by now, does not have a 6-pin cylinder. So, but I would never install Quickset unless if it was customer supplied. See, there should be some NFC padlocks and possibly door locks hitting the market with no batteries. They're powered by the NFC in your phone. James, that's actually I kind of like that. Because then that's similar to like the click that Assa Abloy has. So you have the lock is like the Medico or Ruco or multi-lock click system. The power for the electromechanical is supplied by the key. Or like the Medico XT, Medico XT cylinders like this, all of the power is supplied by the key itself. I don't think I want that. I really don't think I want that. We don't need no dang 6-pin. You know, in my area, what we typically see is residential is 5-pin, commercial is 6-pin. That's what we see. Also, as a cop, what I would see as far as break-ins, exterior doors get kicked. They get kicked in. Somebody looking to break into your house to steal your laptop, your television, your PlayStation, your Xbox, whatever, they're not going to know how to pick a lock. They're not going to take that time, that risk, because they strike day and night. So on that point, my biggest advice to people is buy a safe. Even if you buy just a locking container from Amazon, metal lock box, buy it when you're not at home. Throw your laptop, your iPad, don't want to throw your Xbox in there because you don't want to unplug it and disconnect it and everything. Put it in there. I'm not an Xbox person. PlayStation, yes, not Xbox. But anyway. See, iLock 50 use NFC power. Ah, that's cool. Huh. LPP always starts with a broken lock. That way they don't need to work when he's done. Jay, you weren't supposed to give away my secrets. Damn it. Hey, this thing works. I've had it out here for like almost 2 years now. Don't know where the head cover is, and haven't really had a door to mount it on. But anyway, let's see. Phillips are designed to automatically cam out when nearly tight. In Europe, we use Puzzy. How do you say that? Before the Torx, the Puzzy Dry W? How is that pronounced? Never heard of that. Like that the driver's not trying to escape the screws. Yeah. But I have seen rounded out torques. Not often, but I've seen a couple of them. It sucks to get those out. HKS, good morning. You know, HKS, I ran my AirPods dead listening to the YouTube upload of the episode of the podcast that you guested on. Still great. Still enjoyed it. Let's see. Throw my dog in the safe just to be careful. James, don't throw your dog in the safe. I don't even put my cats in the safe. You know, even though they think it would be cozy, I don't know. Don't do that. Buy multiple safes, then it's a gamble. Which one has the treasure? Yeah, that's true. You know, if you buy a little Amazon lockbox, at least find a cabinet, you know, or a closet or something like that. Put it on the shelf, screw it into a stud, and throw your laptops, your iPads, tablets, whatever, loose electronics that you have in there. Jewelry, you need to get a real safe. Cash, you need to get a real safe. But something just to keep thieves from grabbing whatever they can. Thieves in the U.S., on average, spend about 10 minutes inside of your house. 10 minutes is about how long it takes for security systems to activate, for the call center to call law enforcement dispatch, for law enforcement dispatch to arrive on the scene, between 10 and 15 minutes. So if you've got something that can keep somebody from grabbing a high dollar item for 15 minutes, pretty good. If your little Amazon lockbox is just sitting there, they're going to grab that and they're going to take it with them and get out of there, and then they will have several hours to get in. You don't need several hours. Jeff wrote the pictures I sent you yesterday, which I can't post because they show drill points, but the pictures I sent you yesterday, that took me about 5 minutes or so to figure out where the bolts were, and then another 10 minutes of drilling, and then 5 minutes of pounding, and I got that box open. Wasn't a real safe, but I got the box open. It was a pain in the butt too. Let's see here. Hey Anthony, good morning. No worries about missing. I understand. I will not be live next week because I will be traveling back from Florida on Saturday. And don't worry, my house is protected. So if you're out there and you're not a friend of mine and you're watching, don't think about getting into my house. And if you do, just pet the cats, feed them a can, and we'll be good to go. Anyway, yeah, no worries. Damaged Torx head indicates bad quality screw. Or, Rune, it indicates some yeehaw who takes their impact driver, bears down on it, and really goes to town until it strips out. Let's see. You can round off any kind of fastener with enough torque. Yes, Zoe, what I just said. Pause the driver, Japanese. JIS similar to Phillips, but a different machining. Came out much less. Oh, is that the yeah, that's like the angled Phillips, where they all kind of go in at a angle. Instead of being at right angles to each other, they're offset angles to each other. Not breaking into his house. He doesn't have any kittens to play with. Most vessels drivers are JIS. Okay, cool. 10-pound hand cannon hammer for beating safes into submission. For that one, I used I had a steel punch that I like, and I had a 10-pound sledgehammer. So it took pretty quick work until I had the side bolts beat in on that, but there was actually a top and bottom bolt on that. And if you guys are interested, then all right, Jason, see you later. Happy Saturday. But there was a top and bottom bolt on that as well. The top bolt fell in on its own once I beat the gear drive in. And I'll, Jeff, I sent you pictures. Jay, if you need them, I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you after. If you already have my phone number, then I trust you enough. I'll send them to you, or my Twitter. If we message, I'll send it to you. I just can't post it publicly because even though it's a really crappy box, I will put. I won't put away to make it easier for thieves. I'm just not going to do that. Let's see. Have a look at the link I posted. Okay. Let's go up here. Let's look at the link. Allow all cookies. Are they oatmeal raisin? Is oatmeal raisin and macadamias are the only cookies I like. Battery free program. Huh. Now that's actually pretty cool. Let me reply with a link of my own as soon as I find it. Let me get to here. Yes, I'll accept all cookies, even though I don't like all cookies. Okay. Let's do this, and I do this, and I do this. There you go. All right, Rune, you can check that out. I've installed a bunch of those. Jeff yelling, that fence will drop. Spent a lot of time removing strip screws. Oh, Zoe. Okay, so the first story about the electrified exit device, it's on a gate, right? And it has expanded steel mesh and solid plate behind that expanded steel mesh. And the exit device was installed. It wasn't sex bolted because the thickness wouldn't allow it. So it was basically nuts and bolts that went in there. And a great security feature is to have a stripped out number 3 Phillips, and then a locking nut on the inside. Jesus. That one sucked to get apart because I had to angle like my driver, and if you don't have one of these Irwin dual bit Phillips in your collection and you use an impact driver, get one because it has number 2 and number 3 Phillips on there, and it's as simple as that. Normally, on 99.9% of all locksmith or hardware jobs, you need either a number 2 or a number 3. And come on now. And you just switch it like that. So yeah. So I had to get this thing in there at an angle to the screw, and then I had to use my ratchet on the inside and back it out. And it sucked. Dude, that was a pain in the butt. After drilling the safe, you ever patch the drill holes and put it back into service? I've heard of that being done. James, all right, Wood Spirit. Have a good week. Appreciate you showing up. We'll see you next time. I've never heard of vampires. I'll have to look that up. Y'all send me a link to vampires. But James, to your question, I know like Jeff does it all the time. Normally, the point that I'm at right now is, I'll drill sentries and lower like locking containers and stuff. I'll get those open. As far as like a real safe. And coincidentally, James, if you go to, let me go here, and I'll do this. Let me do this here, and let me do this and this, and I do this. There you go. There's the safes episode of the podcast, but basically I do like, sentry and down as far as drilling. Anything that's more of a real safe, I'm still not at that level yet. I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. But for a sentry or anything like that, you're going to wind up spending more money for me to fix it, to make it work. The one that I was talking about earlier that I did yesterday morning before I got out of the shop to do the electrified exit device, that was a Tiger King model. If you look up their website, they show all of their products, but their office headquarters and their main customer support phone number are all Chinese. Like in China. The website's in English, but they say, hey, call mainland China, 083 country code. I'm not doing that to try to diagnose why it had 2 different key cylinders in it, too. It was really weird. Jeff, I don't think I showed you this or told you this, but it had one that was like a Chinese dimple key on one side, and then the other side it had a tubular key. Not the 1137 size, but like just a frog's hair smaller than that. And anyway, yeah, that was a mess. It wasn't worth it to save. You spent probably $300 on it on Amazon, and yeah, it failed. It was less than a year old. Let's see here. All right. Just hold the phone near the plastic part, and after the app shows the green check mark, you just use the plastic knob as a key to turn. That's pretty cool. Got mine off the tool truck. Cool. Got a sentry book to email to you. You may not need to drill again. You know, actually, I do have from what is it? Tag 5 Industries. We do have the little keypad decoder for Sentries, but it's only for certain connectors for the keypads. Now I really, really want to get somebody to bring one in that I can try that on, because we spent like, what, 150, 200 bucks on it? And we've not been able to use it yet. In Sentry, I do like they're easy enough to scope. And a lot of times, since we do have a showroom and we have safes that are similar in size, I can upsell the customer to an actual safe. So I do kind of like that. But yes, I will gladly take that Sentry book. Let's see, never met a stripped or broken screw or bolt that could not remove. Yeah, I mean, that's the Zoe, I guess that's like the one time that using vice grips is acceptable in my mind. I don't use vice grips to tighten bolts. I don't use vice grips to install stuff. But I guess if you have a like a rounded head or something like that, vice grips would come in real handy. And actually, now that I think of it, if I had grabbed the one pair of vice grips off of my truck yesterday, I could have saved some trouble. Might need to keep them in a little bit easier reach. My coworker uses vice grips all the time, and I can tell because the hex nuts are rounded off or marred up or scarred up or whatever. I use Nipex. Let's see, there are 4 different diameters, so I'll pick for it all. Okay, cool. Few really cool electronic exploits for cheap saves. Well, James, if you were a little bit closer, I could probably get you a couple of those. Shipping is a pain right now. Yeah, I think it does reset the code. It's Tag 5 Industries, and it's like a little box that plugs into the Sentry. But you have to have, it's very specific as far as what keypad model and connector to the keypad you have. Like if the wires are reversed or the connector doesn't work, then it will not work. But it is designed to read the currently stored code, reset the code, program a new code, and, you know, of course, unlock the Sentry as well. The new Nipex twin grips is perfect for grabbing the edge of the screw head to get it out. Huh, cool. They left a command in the system to reset the codes. Wow. That's amazing. Well, actually, that doesn't surprise me, because if you are a registered locksmith with Sentry and you've gone through their vetting process and everything, so basically, like, you know, my shop, we can call Sentry. We have a number for them. We call them and tell them, say, hey, this is, you know, I'm Tim from blah, 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 locksmith. And they say, okay, what's your password? I give them our password, and they're like, okay, what do you need? And I give them the serial number of the safe, and they'll pull up, if it's a mechanical safe, they'll give me the dial combination. If it is a electronic keypad safe, they'll give me a factory override code that will always unlock it. So yeah, I can see them leaving that programming in there for that servicing, but it does leave them vulnerable. You know? Yeah. But also as a locksmith, it costs money. Like, we have to give them a credit card over the phone, a credit card number over the phone. They don't take anything that's on file. You have to provide a card number every single time. So, you know. Let's see, not vice grips, but easy outs and other extracting tools. Okay, cool. Well, guys and gals, guess what? I just ran over an hour. Code isn't published. It's universal, and you need a microcontroller to do it. This wasn't on purpose. Huh. James, y'all need to send me some info on that offline. I would be interested in seeing that for sure. So, alrighty guys, I'm going to go ahead and wind it up because I got 45 minutes before I have to be on the air again, and I have to let this beautiful singing voice rest for a little bit before I talk for another hour or so-ish. Give you a hint, a little preview of what we're going to be recording today. It is in contrast to the last episode we recorded, which has not been released yet. What we are recording today is life on the road. In the truck, in the van, whatever. Van life, road life, however you want to put it. We're going to talk about it today. So, anyway, y'all, appreciate it. Y'all have a great weekend. Have a great week coming up. I will most definitely try to get some videos from the trade show, maybe a few interviews here and there. And I will not be live next Saturday because I will still be in transit. And even though I have like same day shipping, it's going to be a lot to get here. So anyway, y'all, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay out of trouble. We'll see you next time.